Before we start, if you enjoy slow burn stories, the kind that make you question right and wrong, the kind that stay with you long after the screen goes dark, make sure you hit subscribe, tap that like button, and turn on notifications, because stories like this don't come around often. And trust me, this one is going to stay with you. There are some stories you don't plan to live through. They don't announce themselves. They don't feel dangerous at first. They just happen. Quietly. Ordinarily. Like any other day. And then one moment changes everything. And you spend the rest of your life replaying it in your head, wondering where exactly you crossed the line. This is one of those stories. And even now, I can still remember how it started. Not with drama. Not with some big emotional explosion. But with something stupidly simple. A leaking faucet. That's it. Just a stupid, dripping faucet. If I had ignored that call, if I had said I was busy, maybe none of this would have happened. But of course I didn't. Because family helps family, right? It was a quiet Saturday evening. The kind where the world feels half asleep. Golden light spilling through the windows. Nothing urgent. Nothing dramatic. Just calm. My aunt had called me earlier that week. Said the guest bathroom sink had been leaking for days. She sounded frustrated but also embarrassed, like she hated asking for help. I don't have the tools for this stuff, she'd said. And I don't want to call some stranger. So naturally, I offered. I always did. Growing up, she'd been one of the kind ones. The soft ones. Cookies after school. Birthday cards with extra cash folded inside. Warm hugs that lasted just a little longer than everyone else's. Helping her felt normal. Safe. Familiar. There wasn't a single suspicious thought in my head when I grabbed my toolbox and drove over. Not one. Her house looked exactly how I remembered it. Same white fence. Same cracked driveway. Same overgrown garden that always looked like it was winning a slow battle against her attempts to tame it. But something about it felt different. Maybe it was the light. Maybe it was just me. Or maybe, and this thought only came later, maybe some part of me already sensed that something was about to change. When she opened the door, that's when everything shifted. It wasn't dramatic. She didn't suddenly look like someone else. She was still her. Still familiar. Still the woman who'd watched me grow up. But there was something softer about her. Her hair wasn't styled like usual. It was loosely tied back, messy strands framing her face. She looked relaxed. Natural. Younger somehow. Like time had loosened its grip on her. And then I noticed what she was wearing. An old t-shirt. Nothing special. But the skirt. I'd never seen her wear anything like that. Bright. Light. Just short enough to make me look twice before I realized I shouldn't be looking at all. And that's when it hit me. For one split second, I didn't see my aunt. I saw a woman. Just a woman. And the realization made my chest tighten in a way I couldn't explain. Or didn't want to. Sorry about the mess, she laughed softly, stepping aside. Didn't expect company today. Her voice was the same. Warm. Gentle. But something about the way she said it made my heart skip. I told myself I was being stupid. Told myself it was just surprise. Nothing more. It had to be nothing more. Right. The bathroom was small. Too small. The kind of cramped space where two people can't move without brushing against each other. I crouched down by the sink and started working. Wrench. Washer. Pipe. Focus on the job. That's all this was. Just plumbing. Just family. Just normal. But she stayed close. Too close. Handing me towels. Leaning over my shoulder. Watching. And every time her arm brushed mine. Every accidental touch. It felt louder than it should have. Like my body was reacting before my brain could catch up. My heart kept beating faster. For no reason. No logical reason. Just the heat of her presence. The scent of lavender soap. The sound of her breathing behind me. Then it happened. That stupid mirror. I glanced up. She did too. Our eyes met in the reflection. And neither of us looked away. Not immediately. Just a second too long. But sometimes a second is enough. There was something there. Something unspoken. Something dangerous. And suddenly the air felt thick. Harder to breathe. You've really grown up, she said quietly. Simple words. Normal words. But they hit different. She wasn't talking to a kid anymore. She wasn't looking at me like family. Not entirely. She was seeing me as a man. And God help me, I started seeing her differently too. When I finished fixing the faucet, she thanked me. Soft smile. Fingers playing with the hem of her skirt. Nervous. And without thinking. Without even planning it. I said, "You look really nice tonight." The second it left my mouth, I wanted to grab it back. What was wrong with me? That's not something you say. Not to her. Not ever. But she didn't scold me. Didn't laugh it off. Didn't correct me. She just smiled. Small. Secret. And said, "Don't be silly." But her cheeks turned pink. And that silence that followed? It said everything. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her. The way she looked at me. The way her voice softened. The way that tiny bathroom suddenly felt too intimate. I told myself I was imagining it. Overthinking. Making something out of nothing. But then I did something stupid. Something reckless. Something that changed everything. I picked up my phone. And texted her. "Been thinking about today about you." I stared at the screen for a full minute. Almost deleted it. Almost backed out. But before I could, my phone buzzed. Her reply. And my heart nearly stopped. Thinking about me? In what way? She didn't shut me down. She didn't stop me. She opened the door. Just a little. And that tiny opening? That's all it took. And that's when I realized. This wasn't just a leaking faucet anymore. This wasn't just family. This wasn't just nothing. We were standing at the edge of something we shouldn't even be near. And the worst part? Neither of us walked away. Got it, here's part 2, short, tight, fast-paced version. With strong flow and no extra filler. Her message stayed glowing on my screen. Thinking about me? In what way? My heart wouldn't slow down. If she wanted this to stop, she could have stopped it right there. But she didn't. She asked. Which meant she'd been thinking too. I swallowed and typed carefully. "You look different today. Beautiful." The second I sent it, regret hit. Too much. Too far. Then. Buzz. That's not something a nephew should say. My stomach dropped. But another message came right after. "But thank you. No one's called me beautiful in a long time." I stared at those words for minutes. That wasn't rejection. That was loneliness. And loneliness pulls people closer, not away. The next day I couldn't focus on anything. Work felt pointless. Every thought circled back to her. By evening, I texted something safe. "Faucet still okay?" She replied almost instantly. "It's fine. But you can come by. I wouldn't mind the company." Company. Not help. Company. That word hit different. When I arrived, the sun was setting. Her house looked calm, quiet, almost waiting. She opened the door wearing jeans and a simple blouse. Modest. Normal. But the way she looked at me? Not normal. Not at all. We sat in the kitchen with tea. Small talk at first. Fake stuff. Weather. Errands. Nothing real. But every silence stretched too long. Every glance lingered. Finally she said softly, "You've changed." I smiled. People grow up. She shook her head. "No. I mean really changed. You're not a kid anymore." Her eyes stayed on mine. "You look at me differently." My throat went dry. "How?" She hesitated. Then whispered, "Like you actually see me." That sentence hit harder than anything else. "Most people don't," she continued. "To them I'm just the ant. Background noise. But when you look at me, I feel like a woman again." The air between us thickened. "You are," I said quietly. "More than you think." Her breath caught. And neither of us looked away. She stood to move past me. Her arm brushed mine. A tiny touch. Nothing. But it felt like lightning. She froze. So did I. "We shouldn't," she whispered. But she didn't step back. "I know," I said. "But I don't want to leave." She gave a shaky laugh. "You're dangerous. Only because you let me be." Silence. Heavy. Full of things we weren't saying. When I left that night, my hands were shaking again. because nothing had happened. And somehow, that felt worse, because the tension was still there, growing, waiting, like a spark that just needed one breath to turn into fire. And deep down, I knew we weren't done, not even close.